is the threat hunter. It's a very interesting role. So threat hunter, what he does, threat hunter, he does or she does, hunter will be proactively looking for evidence of attackers. So once what happens is sometimes, uh, in case of a bigger cyber attack, hackers are active into the organization infrastructure for years. They may take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years time. They will be collecting the information, and accordingly they plan. So they silently lie into the infrastructure. So threat hunters proactively look for the evidence of attackers. They search for evidences, uh, those evidences which were not identified the traditional detection method. See, one organization will be having a strong internet security softwares, antiviruses, firewall, etc. But threat hunter will be digging below what these commercial softwares do, or whatever these commercial softwares detect to find embedded threat actors in the client environments. So they go beyond that. Next comes is the security architect engineer. So they will be designing, implementing, and tuning an effective combination of network centric, data centric controls to balance prevention, detection, and response. So these people are capable of looking at an enterprise defense holistically, and they will be building security at each layer. So, security architect or security engineer is a person who can balance business and technical requirements both, along with various security policies and procedures to implement defensible security architecture. So, in a way, security architect needs to understand business operation workflow, computer network, business requirement, project plans. Even they must know the business budget constraints as well. So accordingly, a project can be executed and planned. Next comes is the malware analyst. These people also require good technical skills. So what these malware analysts do, they look deep inside malicious software to understand the nature of the threat. For example, how this threat got into the system, what vulnerability it exploited, what harm it has done, or it is trying to do, or whether it has the potential to achieve anything else in the future, or it may lie as a dormant application into the system. So these malware analysts characterize the capabilities of a piece of a malicious code in depth. So they will be doing the proper handling, disassembling, debugging, analysis of the that particular malicious code. So in a way, if I talk about in one way, one word, so reverse engineers are needed. Reverse engineering skills are needed for malware analysts, because they go back into the software and then they further analyze. Then comes is the digital forensics analyst. Though cybersecurity and cyber forensics, these are two different branches, but these are very well interconnected as well, because to know the forensics or to do the forensics, one need to understand security properly. Until unless one is not strong into the security skills, one cannot look for the forensics. So what we do in the forensics, we looking for the evidences. So let's say, for example, let's take one example of say car accident. So one accident has happened. So until unless you are not aware about the car machinery, car functioning, or if you have turned right or left, and then it may collide, or what will happen if you take a little left and it collides. So these are the things. So until unless you are not familiar with the machinery functioning, you cannot look for the forensics. So these are the people who require variety of skill sets, because if they are working as a cyber cop, so they will be looking not only for the evidence collection, they will be looking for seizing of the computers or devices or smartphones. Plus, because we are working into the cloud nowadays, everything is connected, so they must have some knowledge of cloud and network forensics. And above all, investigative mindset is must. So when we say digital forensic analyst, it does not mean that if any cyber crime or any incident has happened, so only one vacancy is needed. No, this digital forensics analyst is the one thing, but they also have a variety of roles into the digital forensics department. As per the requirement, roles are being generated and people are being recruited. But in a way, overall picture, the digital forensics analyst should look, in a very bigger way. He should have a good vision. He should have a broad mindset. He should be able to analyze what is happening, what has happened, or what may happen, what could be the motive. So, an investigative mindset is the must for any forensics role, because these experts analyzed compromised systems or digital media, whatever is involved into the incident or cybercrime. And digital media is something which contain variety of footprints, and those footprints may not be available into the digital forensics data or even if the cybercrime scene. So cybercrime scene is also a thing which one need to study, like what has happened, how things are being lied. Lot of things are there. So forensics is about diving deep into any device, and then they locate the problem. And if it is a commercial organization, then they may look to develop the solution of the problem as well. So that could be the product of a company. Next role is incident response team member. So normally every organization has this incident team. So what they do, if something has happened, so they will be taking the charge and they will be responding accordingly. So what this incident response team member will do, they will be identifying, mitigating, and eradicating attackers while operations are still unfolding. So when attack is going on, that since that time they start working. So they locate the attackers, they minimize their ability to damage the victim. Because if attack is happening and suppose cyber criminals are targeting critical infrastructure, or say it could be like electricity grid or any pipeline or some great resource of any country or organization, in that case, incident response team will be responsible, for minimizing the damage, because damage can go up to any extent. So they will be removing them, but before removing, they try to minimize the loss. And it requires very quick thinking, strong technical and documentation skills, and they must be having the ability to adapt attacker methodologies. Next comes is the cybersecurity analyst. Again, they will be looking into threat detection, threat analysis, threat protection. This is also a very vital role in preserving the security and integrity of any organization's data. Then comes the technical director. It's a senior role, and these people do what these people do is they will be dealing with the technological strategies in conjunction with the development teams. They assess the risk, they establishes standards and procedures to measure progress, and they further participate in the creation and development of a strong team. So technical director must have strong cybersecurity knowledge, and they must have strategic view of the organization infrastructure, what is to come, and obviously strong communication skill are needed. Why I am discussing with the students this senior role? Because you can imagine that kind of growth you can have if you opt cybersecurity or cyber forensics as a career. So there are very good opportunities to grow, because this is something which has taken the important role, or say the major role, and we cannot survive without the digital devices. We all know it, and it will go further and further. Even when we talk about the war, it's the information war. or it's a data war, or it's war on the other countries' critical infrastructure. So roles are, very responsible and serious people are required. Then because we are into the cloud, so we need cloud security people as well. One can be cloud security analyst, cloud security engineer, and further they also have variety of role into the cloud security department. So these analysts who are, specifically dealing with the cloud security, they are responsible for day to day operations. So this role contributes to design, integrate, and testing of tools for security management, and they recommend the configuration improvements. They assess the overall cloud security. Then they look for the posture of the organization, what kind of security posture is there. They provide technical expertise for organizational decision making. So these kind of things, and they ensure that crackers and hackers are, not welcome into the cloud environment. Because when we talk about this cloud security, uh, so that means multiple applications may be running into the cloud environment. Uh, there may be huge workforce which is using the cloud infrastructure. So next comes is the OSINT investigator. When we say OSINT, OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. And these OSINT investigators are needed in the field of cybersecurity and cyber forensics, or even law enforcement agency also need OSINT investigator. So what these people do, they look for the open sources, and mostly they are utilizing publicly available resources on the internet. They collect the data relevant to the investigation. They may look for, say, multiple domains, IP addresses, businesses, people, or issues, or say financial transactions. If we talk about the cryptocurrency, then that data is also open. So they may look, or if some organization is using some open source technology, say blockchain, so they may look for variety of open information available on the network, and accordingly they look for their targets in their work. So their goal is to gather, analyze, and report their objective findings, so that their organization, or if they are a freelance expert, so they can, their client can gain the insights on a topic and issue before taking any step. So one way he must be doing the, or he or she must be doing the fraud investigation. Other way, he may be looking only for the one missing person. So it has variety into it. This role is not about, for example, if we say, if we talk about the coding, so people, certain task is, repeated task, but OSINT investigated task may have lots of creativity. Because no rules are defined, they have to be very creative while looking for the publicly available source or information.